This is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardinis, to use this as an educational material. Hi, good day everyone. I am Kadit and I'll be introducing what is regionalism and regionalization. So first is regionalism. So regionalism, it seeks to achieve legitimacy for definitions of boundaries and to obtain approval for this definition in culture and political and popular and official understandings. This means that regionalism is a process where a specific region seeks to define its boundaries and gain acceptance for these boundaries in both cultural and political contexts. This acceptance can come from general public or from official entities like governments. Second is a regionalism is a political ideology that favors a specific region over a greater area. This implies that regionalism is a political belief system where the interests of a specific region are prioritized over the interests of a larger area. This could be a city prioritizing its needs over those of the entire country, for example. Third is regionalism is the expression of a common sense of identity and purpose combined with the creation and implementation of institution. It means that this suggests that regionalism involves expressing a shared identity and purpose within a specific region. It also involves creating and implementing institutions like local government bodies, cultural organization, and etc. that reflects and support this shared identity and purpose. Next is regionalization. So first is division of nation into states or provinces. So this means that regionalization is the process of dividing a larger area like country into smaller units such as states or provinces. This often done in administrative purposes. Second is in the economic context, regionalization is a management tool. In the context of economics, regionalization can be seen as a management strategy. Businesses might use regionalization to manage operation more effectively by dividing larger market into smaller, more manageable regions. So, third is the process of dividing area into smaller segments called region. This is more general definitions of regionalization, which refers to the process of dividing any area, not just a country, into smaller segments, which are referred to as regions. These regions can be defined based on various factors like geography, culture, language, and etc.
So, good day to you all. My name is Cadet Aquino Nedloy Jomti of Group 2, and the topics that I am going to discuss today is what is Asian regionalism and why is there an Asian regionalism? So, let's start with the latter. What is Asian regionalism? So, Asian regionalism refers to the process of countries in Asia coming together to promote cooperation, integration, and mutual engagement on various issues, both economic and political, within the Asian continent. It involves the formation of regional organizations, agreements, and partnerships among Asian nations to address common challenges and achieve shared goals. So, Asian regionalism also reflects the region's recognition of the benefits of working together to address common concerns and achieve shared goals. It can take different forms and may involve various countries depending on the specific issues and objectives at hand. Why is there an Asian regionalism? Number one is economic cooperation. Asian countries often collaborate to enhance economic ties through trade agreements, investment initiatives, and the development of regional economic blocs. For example, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, has promoted economic integration in Southeast Asia. Number 2, political and security cooperation. Asian regionalism also extends to addressing political and security concerns Organizations like the Shanghai Cooperation Organization or the SCO focuses on security issues while ASEAN plays a role in conflict resolution and diplomatic engagement. Moving on, we have number 3. We have cultural and social exchange. Regionalism can involve cultural and social exchanges, fostering understanding and cooperation among diverse Asian cultures. Number 4. Regional organizations. Various regional organizations such as ASEAN, the SAARC, or the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, and the APEC, the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, and more, serve as platforms for Asian nations to collaborate on specific issues. Number 5. Challenges and opportunities. Asian regionalism addresses common challenges like economic disparities, political tensions, and security threats while leveraging opportunities for economic growth, peace, and stability in the neighboring countries. Number 6. Challenges and diverse interests. Asian regionalism faces challenges due to the diversity of interest, historical conflicts, and political differences among Asian countries. While some nations seek closer integration and cooperation, others may be more cautious and prefer bilateral relations with major powers outside the region. So let's move on to our summary about what is an Asian regionalism and why is there an Asian regionalism. So in summary, Asian regionalism encompasses a wide range of political, economic, and social interactions among countries in the Asian continent. It reflects both historical ties and contemporary efforts to promote cooperation and address common challenges, while also navigating geopolitical complexities and conflicts. The future of Asian regionalism will continue to evolve in response to changing regional and global dynamics. So that is all about my topic. What is Asian regionalism and why is there an Asian regionalism? I hope you learned something and enjoy your day. Thanks for watching.
What is an example of regionalism? So first example is Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN. ASEAN is a regional intergovernmental organization comprising 10 countries in Southeast Asia, which promote intergovernmental cooperation and facilitates economic, political, security, military, educational, and socio-cultural integration among its members and other countries in Asia. This group is an example of regionalism because it's all about cooperation and integration within a specific geographical area. In this case, that area is the Southeast Asia. The countries in ASEAN work together to achieve common goals and tackle shared problems. ASEAN also helps its member countries to interact and cooperate with other countries and regional groups. This has led to the creation of the ASEAN community, which is all about ensuring peace, stability, and prosperity in the region. So in simple terms, ASEAN is part of regionalism because it's a group of countries in the same region working together for their common good. Second is the European Union, often referred to as the EU, is a group of 27 countries in Europe that have come together to make things better, easier, and safer for people. These countries have agreed to work together and help each other. The European Union is considered as a model of regionalism. The European Union has evolved from a limited free trade area to a custom union, a common market, and finally an economic and currency union. This shows a high degree of integration by imposing a common tariff on non-member nations. The European Union is widely considered as one of the most successful models of regionalism on the basis that it has achieved an unparalleled level of integration. Its development ultimately led to regional organizations that were more open with respect to trade. The emergence of new regionalism coincided with the end of the Cold War and a period of increasing global economic integration. The European Union's prospect as a model of the regional integration efforts around the global are being assessed This makes the European Union a significant example of regionalism in the contemporary world. Third is the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation. It brings together 21 Pacific Rim economies including those from Asia, America, and Oceania. APEC focuses on trade liberalization, economic cooperation, and sustainable development within the Asia-Pacific region. The Asia Economic Cooperation or APEC is also a prime example of regionalism. Established in 1989, APEC is a regional economic forum designed to leverage the growing interdependence of the Asia-Pacific region. It aims to create greater prosperity for the people of the region by promoting balance, inclusive, sustainable, innovative and secure growth, and by accelerating regional economic integration. APEC's role in fostering and strengthening trade, improving living standards, and promoting economic growth within the region embodies the principles of regionalism, which prioritizes the interests and shared identity of a specific region.
Good day everyone, I'm Cadet Calvadores. So for today's video, I will discuss to you about the advantages and disadvantages of regionalism. Let's first tackle about the advantages. So first, we have the economic growth and trade promotion. Regionalism can facilitate increased trade and economic cooperation among Asian countries. This can lead to economic growth through the expansion of markets and increased efficiency in production because it reduces trade barriers and harmonizes economic policies, facilitating the flow of goods and services, and fostering economic growth in the region. Next, we have political stability. Regional organizations and agreements can promote political stability by fostering cooperation and dialogue among member states, reducing the likelihood of conflicts and providing mechanism for conflict resolution. Like for example, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or known as SCO, is a regional organization in Asia that focuses on security and counter-terrorism cooperation among its members, including China, Russia, and Central Asian nations. Next, we have infrastructure development. Regional projects and initiatives can promote infrastructure development such as transportation networks and energy grids, which can enhance connectivity and economic development in the region. Like for example, the NLEX East Citix Connector Road is a toll expressway linking the North Luzon Expressway and Subic-Clark-Tarlac Expressway in the Philippines. It aims to improve transportation infrastructure, facilitate faster movement of goods and people between Central Luzon and key industrial and logistics centers, stimulate economic development, attract investments, and enhance overall connectivity, contributing to the country's economic growth. Next, cultural and people-to-people exchanges. Regionalism can encourage cultural exchanges, tourism, and people-to-people interactions, fostering greater understanding and cooperation among diverse Asian nations. Like for example, ASEAN hosts cultural and tourism exchange initiatives promoting mutual understanding among member countries. In the Philippines, participating in these programs includes cultural festival, art exhibitions, food fairs, and educational events. These exchanges allow Filipino citizens to interact with other ASEAN countries, learn about their cultures, and build connections for regional cooperation. They also boost tourism and promote cultural diplomacy. Next, bargaining power. A regional bloc can give member states more bargaining power in international negotiations, including trade agreements and climate change discussions. Like for example, the Philippines, a member of the Association of the Southeast Asian Nation, or known as the ASEAN, leverages the collective bargaining power for the regional bloc in trade negotiations, aiming to create a single economic market in Southeast Asia. This approach allows the Philippines to negotiate agreements with the major economies like China, the European Union, and the United States, enhancing its economic and trade relations. Next, collective problem solving. Regional organizations can provide a platform for member states to collectively address common challenges such as environmental issues, public health crisis, and security threats. Like for example, the Asia-Pacific Regional Forum, or ARF, is a platform where member states, including the Philippines, engage in dialogue and diplomatic efforts to address security challenges in the region. The Philippines actively participate to collaborate with the neighboring countries, build trust, and work towards peaceful resolution of security issues, crucial for its security and regional cooperation efforts. Now let's move on to the disadvantages of regionalism. First, we have trade imbalances. Regionalism can exacerbate trade imbalances among member states, especially when larger economies dominate smaller ones, leading to unequal benefits. Take for example the ASEAN-China Free Trade Area or the ACFTA, including the Philippines, has raised concerns about the trade imbalances due to China's larger economy potentially flooding smaller ASEAN economies with cheap Chinese goods, leading to trade deficits. The Philippines, like the other ASEAN countries, has experienced trade imbalances due to its higher imports from China than exports, causing economic challenges for domestic industries. Regional negotiations are often used to promote equitable trade terms. Next, national sovereignty concerns. Some countries may be reluctant to cede control to regional organizations, fearing a loss of national sovereignty or the potential for outside interference in their domestic affairs. Like for example, the EDCA agreement, which permits increased US military presence in the Philippines, has raised concern about potential infringements on Philippine sovereignty. Proponents argue it strengthens national defense capabilities and security cooperation, while Filipino groups and politicians question whether it could lead to undue influence or interference from the US in the Philippine military and foreign policy matters. This highlights the potential for regional agreements to trigger debates over national sovereignty and the balance between regional cooperation and domestic control. Next, limited inclusivity. Exclusivity and eligibility criteria in regional organizations may exclude certain countries or communities, potentially leading to a feeling of exclusion or resentment. Like for example, the BERMM established in the peace agreement between the Philippine government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front aims to address conflict in the southern Philippines, while it grants autonomy to predominantly Muslim areas. Some regions outside the BERMM express concerns about exclusions, balancing regional autonomy and exclusivity with the national unity and governance is a challenge, with concerns about unequal treatment and exclusion. Next, slow decision making. Regional organizations can sometimes suffer from slow decision making processes and bureaucratic inefficiencies, which can hinder their ability to respond quickly to emerging issues. The Philippines faces challenges in coordinating disasters response efforts during natural disasters due to slow decision making and bureaucratic hurdles. This results in delays in providing critical assistance to affected areas and communities. Despite efforts to improve disaster management and coordination, the issue of the slow decision making and bureaucratic inefficiencies remains a significant challenge in the country's ability to respond effectively to natural disasters. Another disadvantage of regionalism is conflicting interest. Member states may have divergent interests and priorities, making it challenging to reach consensus on important matters. Like for example, the South China Sea dispute involves territorial claims and interest among ASEAN members, including the Philippines, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei, and non-ASEAN countries like Taiwan. These conflicting interests have made it difficult for ASEAN to present a unified stance on the issue. Despite diplomatic efforts and negotiations, divergent interests have hindered the organization's ability to reach a consensus on managing and resolving the dispute, illustrating the challenges of achieving consensus in such situations.
What are the factors of regionalism? Regionalism can be influenced by various factors including number 1. Geography. Physical features like mountains, rivers, and natural resources can create distinct regions with their own cultural, economic, and social characteristics. This means that the natural elements in an area like mountains, rivers, and resources in the land can shape how people live and interact in the place. These factors can lead to unique ways of life, economies, and social behaviors, making different regions have their own special qualities. Number 2. Cultural differences. Diverse languages, traditions, and customs within a country can lead to regional identities and a sense of belonging to a particular area. Means cultural differences refer to the unique ways people in the different regions or communities communicate, celebrate, and behave. This can include things like speaking different languages, having special traditions, and following specific customs. These differences help create a strong sense of belonging and identity for people in a particular area. It's like having your own special way of doing things that makes you feel connected to your community. Number 3. Historical events. Past complex colonial legacies contribute to regional differences and identities. This statement means that things like wars, the effects of colonialism, and significant events from the past can influence how people in different areas think of themselves and their community. For example, a conflict that happened a long time ago might still have an impact on how people from the region view themselves today. Similarly, the way place was once ruled or controlled by another country or colonialism can be shaped the culture and identity of that region. Number 4. Economic disparities. Variances in economic development, job opportunities, and income levels between regions can foster a sense of competition or separation. Economic disparities refer to the differences in economic conditions, such as development, job availability, and income levels between various areas or regions. These variations can create a feeling of competition or division among the affected communities. Number 5. Political structure. Differences in political representation, power distribution, or government policies can accentuate regional disparities. This means that how a country is organized politically, including how power is divided and how decisions are made, can affect the differences between different areas or regions within the country. For example, if certain regions have more say in the government, or if policies favor one area or over another, it can lead to unequal development or opportunities across those regions. Number 6. Social issues. Varied social issues such as education, healthcare, and quality of life can be more pronounced in certain regions, leading to distinct regional interest. This statement is saying that different areas or regions can have more noticeable problems in areas like education, healthcare, and overall well-being. These issues can be stronger in some places compared to others, which leads to specific concerns and priorities for each region. Number 6. Infrastructure and development. Disparities in infrastructure, transportation, and urban development can contribute to regional imbalances. This means that when there are differences or gaps in things like roads, buildings, and city planning between different areas, it can lead to uneven development in those regions. For example, if one area has better roads and more modern buildings, while another area has older infrastructure, it can create imbalances in how well each area grows and prospers. Media and communication. Media portrayal and coverage can reinforce or challenge regional identities as well as influence perceptions of the other regions. This means that how the media presents information can either support or question the identities of different areas, and it can also shape how people see those places. For example, the way a region is shown in the news or in movies can affect how people think about it. Number 9. Migration and mobility. Patterns of migration and mobility can shape regional demographics and influence cultural dynamics. This means that the movement of people from one place to another, whether within a region or between different regions, has a significant impact on the population make-up of those areas. Can also affect the cultural interactions and changes in those places. Number 10. Natural resources and industries. Different regions may rely on distinct industries, for example, agriculture, manufacturing, and technology, which can impact their economic and social structures. It means different areas have specific types of businesses, like farming, making things, or technology. They depend on which affects how their economy and society are organized. 11. Political movements. Regional political movements advocating for autonomy or independence can be a driving force behind regionalism. It means regional political movements are groups that push for self-governance or complete separation from a larger political entity. These movements play a significant role in promoting a sense of regional identity. Government policies. Policies that favor or neglect certain regions can exacerbate or alleviate regional tensions. This means that government rules and decisions can either make problems between different areas worse or make them better. For example, if a policy helps one region but ignores another, it might create more conflicts. But if it is fair and helps all regions equally, and it can reduce tensions. So overall, these factors can interact in complex ways, and their influence can vary from one country or context to another. It's important to consider the specific historical, cultural, and political context when analyzing regionalism.
Let me to discuss what is the new regionalism. The new regionalism refers to contemporary trends in regional politics and governance characterized by increased economic cooperation, security collaboration, and multi-level governance among countries within a specific region. Unlike traditional regionalism, the new regionalism is often more flexible, issue-specific, and inclusive, involving a wide range of actors beyond governments, organizations, and business. So what are the key characteristics included in this new regionalism? Number 1 is focus on specific territories and spatial planning. So number 2 is response to the particular problems of the postmodern metropolitan region. Number 3 is the holistic perspective that integrates planning specialties as well as environmental, equity, and economic goals. Number 4 is renewed emphasis on physical planning, urban design, and sense of place. The last is number 5, more activist or normative stance on the part of planners. So let me compare and contrast the old and new regionalism. So unlike old regionalism, which was oriented more toward interactions and between states, new regionalism involved a variety of states and non-state actors involved in a process of transformation of the world order. Thus, globalization affected new regionalism, which is participated in shaping globalization. And here are the example of new regionalism. One of prominent example of the new regionalism is the European Union, the EU. The European Union represents a comprehensive and evolving model of regional integration that goes beyond traditional economic cooperation. It started as European Coal and Steel Community, which is the ECSC, in the 1950s and has grown into complex political and economic union of 27 European countries as of last knowledge update in September 2021. So the European Union has its own currency, which is the euro, a single market with the free movement of goods, services, capital, and labor, and a common foreign and a security policy. It also emphasizes shared values such as democracy, human rights, and rule of law. So the European Union's integration extends various policy areas including environmental standards, consumer protection, and social policies.
Understanding the relationship between regionalization and globalization is critically important for a variety of reasons. Example 1. Economic impact. It affects trade patterns, market competitiveness, and supply chains, impacting business and economies' trade dynamics. Regionalization can reshape trade, influencing where and how businesses operate. Policy development. Policymakers must balance regional integration with a global cooperation in crafting effective policies. Geopolitical consideration. Regionalization can have geopolitical consequences affecting alliances, power dynamics, and security. Cultural and social factors. It influences cultural exchange, social interactions, and migration patterns. Environmental concerns. Impacts environmental policies, resources management, and climate change responses. Innovation and technology. Understanding this interplay is essential for promoting innovation and technological advancement. Risk management. Businesses and investors need to assess risk associated with regionalization and globalization. Human development. It impacts income distribution, education, and healthcare, affecting human development, conflict resolution, influences international relations, and plays a crucial role in conflict resolution. Regionalization, the process of countries or regions coming together to form a regional blocks or organizations for economic, political, or social cooperation. While the globalization, the interconnectedness and interdependence of countries and their economies on a global scale. Regionalization can significantly affect globalization either by facilitating or impeding the progress. The impact of regionalization on globalization is complex and can vary depending on the specific regional agreements and policies in a place. Here are the examples of positive impacts of globalization. Market expansion. Regionalization allows business within the region to access a larger consumer base, promoting globalization as they seek new markets beyond their borders. Production networks. Regional supplies change and production networks can make industries more efficient and globally competitive. Encouraging globalization as companies become integrated into global value chains. Economic stability. By promoting economic stability among member states, regionalization can create a conducive environmental for global investments and trade. Political cooperation. Regional organizations can serve as platforms for political cooperation and conflict resolution, reducing global tensions that might otherwise disrupt international trade. Policy harmonization. Harmonizing policies, regulation, and standards within a region can simplify compliance for business, making it easier to them to engage in international trade and investment. These are the negative impacts of globalization. Trade diversion. Regional agreements can divert trade away from countries or regions outside the bloc, potentially leading to trade conflicts and hindering broader global trading system. Protectionism. Some regional agreements may prioritize protectionist measures such as tariffs or codes on non-members countries, reducing the free flow of goods and services globally. Regulatory complexity. The need to conform to regional and global regulations simultaneously can increase administrative burden for business, potentially discouraging them to participating in global markets. Geopolitical tensions. Regionalizations can sometimes reinforce geopolitical rivalries, causing tensions that hinder global cooperation and trade. Resource allocation. Regional projects and priorities may divert resources away from addressing global challenges like climate change, potentially impeding international efforts to combat pressing issues. fragmentation. Multiple regional blocks with differing rules and interests can lead to fragmentation, making it challenging to establish global standards and cooperation, undermining global governance. In some cases, regionalization may weaken global governance institutions like United Nations, reducing their effectiveness in addressing global issues.
What is regionalism in the Philippines? Regionalism in the Philippines refers to the strong sense of identity and loyalty that individuals have towards their respective regions within the country. The Philippines is composed of several distinct regions, each with its own unique culture, language, tradition, and historical background. Regionalism in the Philippines refers to the strong identification and loyalty that individuals have toward their specific region within the country. It is characterized by a sense of pride, attachment, and support for one's own regions, often accompanied by a belief in its uniqueness and superiority over other regions. Regionalism can manifest in various ways, such as cultural practice, dialect, tradition, and even political affiliation, while regionalism can foster a sense of identity and unity within a particular region. It is important to promote national unity and cooperation among all regions for the overall development and progress of the Philippines as a whole. Regionalism in the Philippines pertains to the feeling of identity culture, and the times aspiration that are unique to different region within the country. To address this concern, the Philippines government has implemented policies aimed at fostering inclusivity and ensuring development across all regions.
Good day everyone, I'm the Cadet Papa Alejandro Jr. B. And for this video, I'm going to report what is the difference of regionalism and globalization. Regionalism and globalization are two constructing concepts in the field of international relation and economics. Here's a simplified explanation of the difference between the two. 1. Regionalism. Regionalism refers to the process of countries or states coming together to form regional organizations, agreements, or alliances to address common challenge and pursue shared objectives that involves the strengthening of regional cooperation and integration within a specific geographic area. Regionalism focuses on promoting economic, political, and social collaboration among neighboring countries or those with similar interests. Examples include the European Union, Asian Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and NAFTA, North America Free Trade Agreement. 2. Globalization. Globalization, on the other hand, refers to increased interconnectedness and interdependence of countries through the exchange of goods, services, information, and ideas. It entails the integration of national economics into the global economy, facilitated by the advancement in technology, transportation, and communications. Globalization enables the free flow of capital, labor, and resources across borders, leading to increased economic interdependence and cultural exchange. It is driven by the international trade, foreign direct investment, and global networks. Examples of globalization include multinational corporations, global supply chains, and international financial institutions like the World Bank and International Monetary Fund. So, in summary, regionalism emphasizes cooperation among countries with a specific region, while globalization focuses on integration of economies and societies on a global scale.